Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Hangar 18, volume number 35. And I just realized that I always call it episode when I'm introducing it, but in the actual titles, I call it volume. And then when I put the playlists up, they're also called episodes. So I have zero, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Continuity.
Continuity, that's exactly the word I'm looking for. Symbiotic, there you go. So anyway, I just want to say, hey, welcome to everybody. Thank you, and fuck you. And this is your favorite blue giant fucking stabby faced alien robot from another world, Thundercracker. And with me, as always, is and he made me be late today for some reason. I don't know what the deal was with that. Threw our whole schedule off by an hour.
Right.
Dreadwind, the giant stabby faced, also panty dropper baritone from the South. I always imagine he comes out for these shows with like one of those Mouth of the South fucking jackets on.
Oh,
like
wow. Well, you're going way back.
Hell yeah, that's the only kind of wrestling I know is like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and Roddy Piper.
Jake the Snake
Roberts. I mean, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. That was my shit back then, like when I was young.
Me too.
So, like this new stuff I just really can't get into.
Twin Towers and yeah.
The what was the two dudes who the Road Warriors? Remember the Road Warriors?
Road Warriors, yep.
Who was that dude that came out with a 2x4?
Oh, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Junkyard Dog.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, that kind of like segues us or segues us, as I like to sometimes say, intentionally to fucking piss people off. Anyway, that segues us into our topic for this week. My topic for this week was heavy metal from south of the border. And I have a couple of friends from Mexico, and I have no idea where I got these friends. They just like became friends of mine somehow on Facebook. Like I forget entirely the circumstances of becoming friends with them. But anyway, one of them's name is Wazon M. He's a really super cool guy, and he loves heavy metal, and he also puts up pictures all the time of like scantily clad tattooed chicks. So
it's a bonus.
Yeah, right on. And like he'll put like 30 of them up in a row on any given day, which is great, you know. And so I asked him to go ahead and make this playlist for us of bands from Mexico. What's that?
I would much rather see that on my news feed than what I normally see on my news feed.
Trump sucks. Trump is great. Trump sucks. Trump is great.
Pretty much.
And today it's Trump sucks. Trump is great. Hey, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Empowered.
Yeah, right on. So anyway, so like I said, I asked him to make me a playlist, and he came through like a champ, I think. I mean, and I didn't even, because I don't know any Spanish at all, other than like what I learned to talk about. So like I had no fucking idea what any of these bands were. I knew what Brujeria was. That was like the one band that I knew, but the rest of them I have no idea. And
I'm kind of like Beavis and Butthead in that aspect. You asked me to speak Spanish, I'm like, burrito.
Yeah, right on. So anyway, like he gave me these 10 bands, and I had no idea what the fuck they were or anything. But he actually like went through a couple different genres too. I noticed there's some power metal in here, there's some technical death metal in here, and there's some thrash, there's some I guess black / thrash metal in here. So hey, kudos to him for coming through for me, because I had no fucking idea what he's going to give me. He could have given me like, I don't know, like opera, and I would have been like, hey, cool, kick-ass name for a metal band, because I only use fucking Spanish, right? What does that mean? Blood of the Black Roses? No, that means string quartet in G minor. So anyway, just like we always do with our Hangar 18 broadcasts, we're going to talk about, and I fucking closed the link. Well, I got to open the link again. Hang on 1 second. I can get it because it has great keywords here to find this link.
Been drinking all that Fruitopia, huh?
Yeah, it is the fucking strawberry passion awareness, motherfucker. All right. So anyway, as always, we start off with heavy metal news, and this is the greatest piece of heavy metal news ever.
Is it the zoo thing?
What's that?
Is it the zoo thing?
No. This is even better.
Oh, I thought you could do that. Okay.
All right. Here we go. 4-mile-long beer pipeline coming to German music festival this summer.
Oh,
this is
yeah.
So great. Walking open air, they're going to put a fucking pipeline, which is going to funnel 400,000 liters of beer to the festival. This is the best part. It can pump 6 beers in 6 seconds. I don't know why they wrote it like that. I'm guessing because of 666. But that's so awesome. And actually, here's the thing about it. They said this would be less environmentally, what's the word I'm looking for here? Impacting than the trucks bringing in kegs. Just put in a 4-mile-long fucking beer pipeline. And this, like, if you look at the pictures of it, it is a legit pipeline.
Yeah, I saw that. The only thing is, I'm assuming it's just one type of beer, unless they're gonna put different.
It's got to be just one type of beer. There's no way they can mix that.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking is if you run like several different smaller tubes inside the big main one.
Well, if you look at yeah, that might be true. Because if you look at the pipeline, there's a bunch of little smaller tubes next to it. But you might be right. Maybe they're putting like little smaller feeder tubes in there.
Yeah, so you can maybe get 10 or 15 smaller individual tubes, but that way you could get different drafts, all in one pipeline.
Right. And now, like I said, that's the greatest thing ever. So yes, and also I'm going to talk about the zoo thing too because that's fucking also awesome. The Ukrainian zoo put up a statue of fucking Tom Araya. How great is that?
For no apparent reason.
They just say, "Here's a statue of Tom Araya." And like he's just standing there with his bass, just, fucking looking like Santa Claus. Just fucking
got the Slayer thing behind it and everything.
Yeah, it's just the little logo behind it. It's just fucking awesome. And like, of course, people for some reason people know that I like Slayer. Mm-hmm. Like as soon as that came out, like 1,000 people texted me and emailed me and sent me messages. Holy shit! Did you see the Slayer statue? So yeah. That's fucking badass. So a beer pipeline and a Slayer statue. That's a pretty good week for metal, I would say.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
So Dreadwind, what would be your lesser heavy metal news?
My well, definitely lesser, because I was gonna mention the statue thing if you didn't, but yeah, that was. There's a translation. The translation is bad on like the actual page, but you read it and he doesn't give a reason as to why he put the statue there. It's just there.
You don't need a reason for Slayer.
He likes heavy metal, so yeah. Let's see. My heavy metal news is nothing as ground shattering as that, but the band Baroness has parted ways with their guitarist Pete Adams, and they've announced a new.
He's not. No, John Sullivan's the one who does the art, right?
John, who what?
No, the band Baroness, one of their guitar players, I don't know if it's a bass guitar player or what, one of them does all that really badass art.
Oh, I'm not sure which one does the art. It doesn't say, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
All it says is that their guitarist has left and being replaced with new guitarist Gina Gleason.
Gina Gleason, I never heard of that.
So female, their first female member of the band. So that should be interesting.
John Baisley.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
John Baisley's the guy who does the art.
Okay, I think that's might be the singer, maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe the bass player. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But anyway, so yeah, guitarist Pete Adams out, new guitarist Gina Gleason in.
That name almost sounds like a 1950s television show character.
Oh yeah, like Jackie Gleason's daughter, maybe.
Yeah. To the moon, Gina. All right, that was fucking took you way too long to catch on to that one. God damn.
Yeah, I know. All right. And also, I know, right? Also, there's a video of Dragon Force's Herman Lee, guitar player, who has apparently he enjoys racing, and there's a video of him and some guy from the Metal Sucks webpage that he takes him on a racing run in his Porsche 911.
Oh.
And there's a video of that. So I guess he pretty much scared the bejesus out of the reporter.
Oh yeah. So check this out. When I was in high school, there was this kid named Brian. He was a total douchebag, right? But he was like one of those kids that was in like the advanced placement classes with me, right?
Right.
We had this whole advanced placement classes system called New Horizons, where I went through all like the to where you could take the AP test out of college courses and shit. But anyway,
right.
dude, Brian Mitten, he would like all the time brag about how he had a Porsche and how, his parents were going to give him a Porsche. And he's all the time like talking about how great his Porsche was until he fucking saw it, right? And it was like a 1970s Porsche, which would have been cool, except that it wasn't restored or anything. It was just like a piece of shit that had like weeds growing through it. Like he would always try to use that as his like end to get pussy.
Like Bondo patches and everything all over.
Yeah, right. Bondo patches. It was like falling apart, rusted to pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leather all cracked and shit in it. And he's like, "Oh, I got a Porsche." Okay, whatever. And I had another buddy who'd always be like, "Yeah, you could come take a ride in my Vet." Like, "Oh yeah?" And he'd be like, "Well, it's a Chevette." So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
All right, so anyway, let's get right into our review of the 10 songs that Wazon sent to us. I had a problem sometimes finding out where these bands were from or all that type of jazz because, like, I don't know, Google apparently is anti-Spanish, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, the first band is called Transmetal, and the song by them is called Infierno de Dante, which I'm guessing means Dante's Inferno.
That was my guess. And
they are from, and forgive me because, like I said, my Mexican or Spanish sucks. They're from Uracuarco, Michoacan, Mexico in 1987. That's the band. And this is the title track. What?
So we'll go with that.
Yeah, sounds good, right? This is the title track from the 1993 album. My notes are very strong, old school thrash metal feel to this song. The drumming is spot on throughout the entire track, but there's kind of like a hollowness to the recording that kind of makes the entire thing sound very tinny. It almost sounds like there's like an echo to the whole thing, and it's it's very distracting to me. It sounds like you're listening to it on a cassette almost. And I don't know I don't know if that's just because
very demo quality.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Very demo quality. But the breakdown was heavy as fuck. It just was like, I don't know. It was like uranium. It was down there. Speaking of uranium, remember that show Uranium with that chick on it?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to check YouTube that. There used to be a heavy metal show called Uranium that had a smoking hot chick on it. But anyway, the cover art of the album was amazing. I thought. I forget what it was now, but it was pretty awesome. And then there was a pretty good solo to the song. I gave it a 7.0. Dreadwin, what did you think of Infierno de Dante?
Yeah, I assumed it means Dante's Inferno also. That's about the extent of my Spanish knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got real cool heavy guitars. The overall sound quality definitely, I noticed that too. It really sounded like it was recorded on like a 4-track or something, like a cassette tape. Very demo quality sound.
Definitely.
But the song itself was good.
Yeah, right on it.
The chorus, I have no idea what he was saying, but the chorus part sounded really cool. It has a real good rhythm. The breakdown around 2 minutes in was real nice and heavy. I like that. I really, really enjoyed the music. His vocals were okay. The solo was good. I gave it a 7.0 also.
What is that? Is that a siete?
I think so. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete. Yes, siete.
Look at that. I'm a goddamn Spanish genius. All right. Our next band is called Asesino. That's the band name. I figured that much out because they apparently do it backwards. The band name is Asesino, which means killer. And I'm guessing it comes right out of Assassin. It's got to. And the song is called Buqueado.
I noticed there was a bit of a theme going on with the masks and the
he definitely loves
and everything.
Shit, definitely.
Yeah.
This band is from Los Angeles, California, formed in 2002, and this is from their album Cristo Satanico, which maybe that means Christ is Satan. I'm not sure, but that seems like something like it. Anyway, it was released in 2006. The opening is heavy as shit, and then it sounds like somebody takes a snort of coke right before they start playing, which is a great sound effect, right? The blast beat is fucking wrecking it. I actually wrote that down word for word. The artificial harmonic tail ends that they'll do like a little riff and then the drums with it, and then they put an artificial harmonic tail end, which reminds me a little bit of Zakk Wylde.
Yeah.
And Asesino is a Mexican-American extreme super metal group, or metal supergroup, and a side project of Fear Factory guitarist Dino Cazares.
Really? I did not
Yep,
know
the
that.
band features members of Brujeria, Fear Factory, Sepultura, which is, I believe Max was in there, Sadistic Intent, and Static X. So definitely a super group. And you could tell, too, if it was a super group. At least I could, because, I don't know, it was a great song, I thought. There were great tempo changes. The vocals were amazing. They reminded me a lot of Max Cavalera. It wasn't,
Yeah.
but it reminded me of Max Cavalera quite a bit. And that's saying something, because Max is like right up there with my heavy metal icons. But I really love this song, and the band is great. I got to look into these guys more. That's why I love this show, right? Because you get like you shit you never would have heard of, and you look into it, and you're like, wow, I got to check out more of that shit. But I gave it an 8.5 Dribbling. Assassino from, or Twicadio.
Tocadio.
Yes. No. That's wrong. Fuck it. Go ahead.
Tocadio by Assassino. I guess. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize all those people. I didn't bother looking them up. I didn't know who all was in it, so I might have to look them up some more. The song "Blast You in Your Face" right from the beginning with the openings is full of a lot of mean riffage. Bit of a black metal riff here and there, with the really fast guitars. I have to admit though, when the vocals first came in, they made me laugh. Probably, I guess, because they were singing in Spanish, and I have no idea what they were saying. So when he very first starts off, he just kind of talks,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and it just sounds funny. And then he actually starts singing. When he's singing, he does sound a lot like Max, but the talking part, just that first couple of seconds, actually made me laugh because it sounded silly. If I knew what they were saying, it probably wouldn't sound silly. It'd probably be like, "Oh my gosh, wow, okay."
Yeah, they're probably talking about like mass murder or something like that.
Yeah, I know, but anyway, really kicks in about a minute into it. It just tears into it. It's fast and brutal. The solo's good. It's kind of short. But I did find it was a bit repetitive though. I didn't like it as much as you did, but it was a good solid song. Gave it a 7.0 also.
All right. 7.0 also. I gave it an 8.5.
I mean, also compared to the previous song that I rated.
Oh, that's a way to pull yourself out of that one. All right, so the next band is the band called Brujeria, and I've actually heard of Brujeria, and I like them a lot. Which their name means witchcraft.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and this song is called La Ley de Plomo, which means the law of lead, which is a great name for a song. Their band was formed in Tijuana, Mexico in 1989, and this is from their album Raza Odiada, 1995. The black and white video is hardcore as fuck. And if you watch any Brujeria videos, they're all going to be like that. They all have masks, and they're all just standing there kind of like fucking just wailing away, and people are beating the shit out of each other in a mosh pit. And then like they show like the like cut scene to like somebody getting stuffed into a barrel or something, you know? It's just they're like really hardcore with that kind of stuff. The guitar is literally playing through hell. It is so low and heavy. That's what I put on there. The bass breakdown, they do like a little bass ditty part to it, which is fucking awesome. They have a very simple song structure, which that's pretty common to Brujeria. I don't know if it's Brujeria or Brujeria. I'm not sure, but I say Brujeria. Anyway, fucking well done. I also give this one 8.5.
Wow. Okay. I did not like this one as much as you did. It's got real heavy guitar intro, and then it slows down. His vocals are very low, growling vocals. The drums sounded real weak to me. I don't know if it was the way they recorded them. It just, I don't know. They sounded weak. I don't know how else to put it. I really like the bass part about that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Bass duty. Yeah, that was my favorite part of the song. I thought the outro was a bit long and repetitive too. It just kind of kept doing the same thing over and over again. I don't really have any other notes. I just didn't care for this one as much. I gave it a 6.
6.0. God damn.
Yeah.
That might be the widest discrepancy we've ever had, I think. All right. All right, moving on to our next band. This band is a great name for a band. It's called Rape to God 666. That's such a great name for a band.
I wonder if there's 665 other bands with
Called Rape God. And they just kept like, trying to type in the name. They said, try another name. They have to go up by one. Yeah. They also have a great song name here, Massive Destruction Attack.
Yeah.
That's so great. Anyway, the band was formed in Mexico City in 2000, and this was off their album The Executioner in 2008. The cover art for the album is pretty awesome. It's like a bunch of like weird mutants that are dressed up like Judas Priest with guns.
Yeah.
And the band logo is pretty awesome. It has a whole bunch of like reapers or scythes or whatever the fuck you want to call them. The poles with the curved blades on the ends of them that they use to harvest shit.
Mm-hmm.
The music sounds like a mix of early thrash metal and black metal to me. That's what it sounded like. The drummer,
that's what I wrote too.
Yeah, the drummer has got to be exhausted after playing this song. I mean, they just must have like an IV of Gatorade for this drummer when he's doing this, because it was like just nailing it, right? The singer's voice is prototypical 1980s thrash, but like here's a couple of bad things about it. The recording was not that great, and there are way too many drum rolls in the track.
Mm-hmm.
They just kept doing drum roll after drum roll. And drum roll to me is like, I don't know, it's like icing. It's like ice cream at the end of a meal. You know what I mean? You don't go to a steakhouse and just go straight for dessert. You have a fucking steak first, right?
Right.
So I don't know if that was a good metaphor or not for fucking drum rolls.
I got you. Yeah, drum rolls they're more of a flourish and a sprinkling, an add-on here and there.
Right. Exactly, right. So anyway, Rape God 666, Massive Destruction Attack. Despite the really awesome names, I was not a fan. I gave it a 6.5 Dreadwood.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. My first word that I wrote was speed, which I'm not sure what the Spanish equivalent for that is. We'll just say speed.
Arriba.
Andale. Yeah, very much a demo quality again. It was really hard to hear the vocals. They were actually singing in English this time, but it was still, even though they were singing in English, it was still hard to understand what he was singing because it was so hard to hear the vocals.
Hey, velocidad. That's the name for. That's the word for speed in Spanish.
Okay. We'll go with Arriba. Okay.
Yeah. The velocidad kind of sounds like the male velociraptor.
Sounds like a velociraptor. Yeah. Exactly right. The singer to me sounded like the guy from Crocus.
Oh, he did.
Do you hear it now?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. They had a
Crocus reference. Holy
they had a change up about 2 minutes in, and they almost had something, but it lasted for like 10 seconds, and then they went right back to the thing. The song was, I don't know, just kind of disjointed. It lacked something to bring you into it, you know. And my biggest gripe on this song,
a hook, I think, is what they were missing.
Yeah, but my biggest gripe on this song are the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm right there with you. There were way too many drum rolls. And on top of that, I cannot stand the sound of their snare drum on this song. It's just, I've heard other bands record their drums this way, and a snare should pop. You know, it should have a snap and a pop to it. And this one doesn't. It's like they left the snares off of the drum. Because if you're not familiar with how a snare drum's set up, a snare drum is a drum, and on the bottom there's these little metal pieces.
Yeah, they go across, almost like the
bottom
strings of a guitar, almost across the bottom of it, right?
Kind of. And those are the actual snares. And when you hit the top of the drum, the metal pieces on the bottom vibrate to create that snare sound. And there's a little lever that you can lower it to actually remove that off of the bottom so that it doesn't vibrate against the drum. And it sounds like they left that off. So all you end up with is a drum that, instead of going pop, pop, pop like a snare drum should, it goes tonk, 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 tonk.
Dead sound.
So throughout the entire song, especially the way they play, because it's just speed fast. The entire time you're listening to the song, all you hear is drum roll, followed by tonk 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 tonk, drum roll, tonk 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 tonk.
Totally.
And yeah, I hated it. 5.0.
Wow, damn.
Yeah.
You know what might have helped them? A flanger. Just
a
saying.
flanger would have definitely helped. Absolutely.
All right. This next band and song combination definitely reminds me of a porn name. But it's Strike Master.
I didn't write the name of the song. What's the name of the song?
Black Violence.
Okay, there you go.
Strike Master Black Violence. Triple X, 8 hours long. But anyway, this band, we're having way too much fun. I'll tell you.
Wow.
The band was formed in Mexico City in 2005, and the album is Vicious Nightmare, released in 2009. And for some reason, I have a mental block on the word vicious. I can never spell it right. Always have to just type out close enough and then have autocorrect fix it for me. Just lean on that crutch. Anyway, the song, here's the thing about the song. The music sounds like early Slayer, but the singing sounds like Tom's later when he does his auctioneer voice. It's like so it sounds like they mixed two eras of Slayer with their music, which there's nothing wrong with that in my opinion. But good classic thrash metal riffing. The solo is pretty brilliant, but it's also pretty choppy in the mix. I don't know what it was. It just kind of seemed like slightly out of sync with the rest of the song. The solo was. The tempo change came out of nowhere. The bouncy guitar part after the breakdown is fucking brilliant. That was probably the best part of the song, I thought. The song definitely does not need to be 6.5 minutes long.
No.
Definitely could have shortened that up to about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes. Yet another great and heavy breakdown just before the ending, which is like one of those classic. It almost sounds like it could have came off of like Ride the Lightning or Kill 'Em All, where they do the ending, where people just kind of like fuck around on their instruments for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Anyway, Strike Master Black Violence. I give it's almost like a dildo name. I give it a 7.5. 7.5. What did you think, Strike Master Black Violence? Good.
Whew. Yeah, very, 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 very thrash / speed metal sound. And another one where he's singing in English, but it because of the way he sings, like you were talking about, it was still kind of hard to understand him because of that. I guess that auctioneer style vocals, like you talked about. I don't have very many other notes on this one because it was just way too long. Way too long. About 3.5 minutes in it, I just wrote, "Is it over yet?" Because that's where it should have ended. They finally that outro that you were talking about, that was probably my favorite part of the song, actually, was that little outro bit, and it lasts for like 15-20 seconds. That's it. I'm like, oh, they finally had something, and then they just end it right there. What the heck, man? Not a huge fan of this one. It wasn't bad. It was just way too long. If they could have cut it down, it probably would have jumped the score up by like 2 whole points. But I give it a 6.0 as it is.
You just didn't like anything this week, did you? All right. Okay. The next band is called Next.
Next.
Yep. They were formed in Mexico City in 1985, and the song is called Debes Morir, which means you must die, which is a great song. Oh. And their album for this one is Invasion Nuclear, released in 1988, which I'm guessing means nuclear invasion. My notes are fucking great opening riff, very heavy with almost a Judas Priest slant to it. The singing is pretty awful. I have no idea what he's saying, but I do know that his voice sounds very flat. There's an very awesome tempo change that starts out with a wicked riff, builds up a bit, and then goes into a fantastic solo with pounding drums, and then slows right back down to guttural. My whole thing about this is this would have been brilliant as an instrumental. The music on it is great. The singing on it sucks ass water. But the music was so good that it gives them a 7.5. despite the shitty singing. Dreadwind. What did you think about next Debus Moyer?
I like this one. Yeah, it's got a killer opening rhythm to it. It's just straight up metal. This song, it's not a speed or thrash like some of the other ones that are on the list. This is more just kind of straight up heavy metal. Solid riffs throughout. I have no idea what he's singing about, but it's okay. The music was really good. I liked the change up where it sped up a little bit about 2.5 minutes in or so. I thought the solo was great. The mix could be better. I thought the drums were a bit too loud, especially right around that part where the change up came in, where they sped up, because you could hear the drums really loud in the mix, but you couldn't hear the guitars underneath it. So a little bit better of a mix there could have helped. But then it went back to the main rhythm after that. Not super complicated, but it doesn't have to be. It's a good solid song. It was probably one of my favorite ones on this list. I gave it an 8.0.
8.0. All right.
Yeah, like that one.
All right. The next band is called Criminal, and the thing of the song is called Hijos de la Miseria. I have no idea what that means, but this band is from Santiago, Chile, formed in 1991, and their album is called Dead Soul, that this is off of, 1997 release. Very, very, very thick guitars right from the onset. And this guy is a great death metal vocalist, just great death metal vocalist. The main melody sounds very somber but very catchy at the same time. The breakdown is very smoothly done, but has a relentless feel to it, punctuated by a little guitar doodle at the end of it. And at times, the guitar sounds like a fucking buzzsaw, which is exactly what you want for death metal. So anyway, that's my notes. Criminal, Hijos de la Miseria, I give it 8.0. I really, really like this one. I thought it was a pretty great example of Latino death metal.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't shock me coming out of Chile, because they have... Go ahead.
I was just going to say Hijos means children.
Mm-hmm.
And misery.
Children of misery?
Yeah, either children of misery or, yeah, I guess so.
Or miserable children? Something
along those lines.
Well, you know more than I did, so go ahead.
I had to type it up. I had to Google it.
Professorio.
I had to Google it.
All right.
Yeah, I thought it had a very Slayer-esque opening to it with the music. The overall production could be a little bit better, but the song itself was really good. I definitely got a bit of a Sepultura vibe from this song. It sped up a little bit at 2 minutes briefly, and then went back, and then there was a change up towards the end that was really, really heavy and awesome, that led into the outro that I liked. The solo was pretty cool. Again, I don't have very many other notes on this one, but overall, again, probably one of my other favorite songs from this list that I really liked. I gave it an 8.0.
All right, hey, fucking symbiotic. We matched up on that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right, so we go on. The next band is called Luzbel, something like that. They were formed in Mexico in 1983, and the song was called La Gran Ciudad, which I know ciudad means city, so maybe this means like the big city.
Maybe so.
The album is Regreso al Origen from 2013. I don't know what that means either. So you just got to deal with it on this one. My very first note is goddamn beautiful opening instrumental part. Just really, really beautiful opening instrumental. But then the singing starts. Not a fan of the singing at all. And all I can think of is this guy is the Spanish Dio. Then the main break kicks in, and I realize that I'm listening to power metal, which I'm not really a big fan of. As the song progressed, I was reminded more and more of the more soulful and singy 1980s Dio stuff. I mean, not like the music behind it, but just like the way he was singing. Just the shit, you know? The guy can actually sing pretty well, but like they have like this additional backup vocals tracked up with him. Yeah, that are like really distracting, and like I think it takes away from his voice, because he's got a powerful voice, But then they got like this. It seems like they just like found somebody in the street and were like, "Hey, sing backup."
Yeah, I wrote that too. Yeah.
The drums are way too loud for this type of song. Like this type of song is like one of those like whenever Black Label Society releases like a somber instrumental type album, like I don't know, they fucking done. Just trust me that they have some albums that are just like all acoustic guitar and like him just singing, and it seems like it would be that with just like blasting ass drums, and it just doesn't sound right. So I think the drums are way too loud.
You're talking about his Book of Shadows album?
Yeah, right. Book of Shadows is one of them.
Yeah.
Hangover Music's another one.
Right.
There seems to be a spot. There's a spot where the song just like sounded like the recording just fucked up and just stopped for a couple seconds. And I guess just say a couple seconds, like a half second. It sounded like the recording fucked up. But anyway, this is like a Latino power metal, and I am not a fan of power metal in general, so I give this a 6.5. Good.
Yeah, it's got a short evil riff that switches to very clean, eerie guitar sound at the beginning, and that was that intro you're talking about, which I thought was great. I was really interested in what was going to come out of that. And then he started singing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, is this a power ballad? Oh no, it's a power ballad. Yeah, it's an 80s power ballad. I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Recorded in 2013.
I know. The background vocals, I'm right with you. I wrote pretty much the same thing you did. They were unneeded and very distracting. And distracting in the sense that it took away from the song.
Definitely.
Definitely not needed there. I did find the guitar work throughout the song. It had some interesting old school guitar work, and I thought the solo was really good. So I enjoyed the guitar work throughout the song, but other than that, not a big fan of the power ballad thing here. I like the artwork on the video, but of course that has nothing to do with the band. I was just
he just like picked like a bunch of like random
artwork, which was awesome artwork, but
yeah,
it has absolutely nothing to do with the band because it was just
a fan video. Yeah,
yeah. I'm 6.5 also.
All right, Flux about it. Come on, too.
Yeah.
All right, this next band is Cenotaph, and in parentheses, the Mexican version. And because there's another band called Cenotaph from Turkey. It's the more popular one. Anyway, this is called Crying Frost.
Hey, does the other one have an album called Turkish Delight?
I think they do.
That would be awesome.
No, I don't think they do. Talk about like what is that comes from Camel cigarettes, doesn't it?
I don't know. It was in like the Narnia thing where it's some sort of it's supposed to be like a sweet dessert something, but
no.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Camel cigarettes, have you ever seen like the dude standing there with his wang out on the Camel cigarettes?
No, I missed that one.
Oh, dude, look at the front of a pack of Camel cigarettes and like look at his front legs. It looks like a dude's just standing there with his hands on his hips with his wang hanging out. I'm dead serious.
I'll look for it.
All right. Anyway, Cenotaph, parentheses Mexican version.
Are these the things you look for when you're working at the gas station?
No, it's just like that was like that's like like the Crybaby Bridge thing. It's like one of those urban things that everybody hears about, or like the one legend where like if you're driving along and somebody's got their brights on and you shoot your brights at them to tell them to turn off their brights, they'll come back around and kill you. Remember that one that was going around?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, the band was formed in Mexico City, Mexico, the Federal District, in 1989. A little frog in my throat there. This is from their album Epic Rites from 1996.
You get some Fruitopia, man.
I know, damn. All right, very epic opening that lasted almost too long. They went through about 5 separate individual main drum beats in the first 90 seconds. Definitely technical death metal. They were switching from high-pitched guitar to low-pitched guitar and showcasing about 1 million different riffs throughout the song. I mean, they just changed up everywhere. This is my there was one English comment that I saw in the comment section. And this is what the guy said. This band is older and better than the shitty, gory Turkish fucks.
Okay.
I just found out
What's
immediately
that
that the guy felt the need. I don't know. Anyway, there were fuckloads of tempo changes, like a million of them, but they meshed them together pretty well. The song is greatly composed overall and has a kind of like epic urgency feel to it. Like this song, I think could be played like in a movie or like maybe in a chase scene or something. They would never do that because they never put metal in movies for some fucked up reason. But anyway, it's got an epic feel or an urgency feel to it. But then at the end, his screaming gets a little old for me. Like I think this song would have been a little bit better if they would have broken up the screaming, maybe with some clean vocals.
Yeah.
But they don't, and that I think maybe kind of I knocked them a little bit for that. But I give Cenotaph Mexican version, Crying Frost, a 7.0 Dreadwind.
Yeah, I thought it had a really cool opening. I'm with you with the vocals. I didn't care for them too much. I think they should have done something maybe a little bit different to break it up in there. There's definitely some cool riffs here and there throughout the song, but overall, I felt it lacked a little bit of cohesion because, like you said, it changed up so many times. Some of them worked well and some of them didn't. I don't have very many notes, but my biggest thing is, to me, they sounded like a poor man's version of Cradle of Filth.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, just they kind of had that Cradle of Filth sound, and it didn't quite pull it off.
Minus the keyboards, right?
Yeah, minus the keyboard. Yeah, add the keyboards in there, and it's Mexican version of Cradle of Filth or wherever they're from. 6.5 for me.
I guess it might be your lowest rated show. Racist. All right. The next band.
Come on now.
The next band is called Cerebus, which is obviously the three-headed dog that guards the entrance to Hades. But in this case, it's a band. And here's the thing about this band with the name Cerebus. There are fucking 17 metal bands with the name Cerebus. So I had to look through all of them to find the correct one. That's the kind of research I'm dedicated to doing for this show. But anyway, they were formed in Mexico City in 2010. The song is called Enslaved in Heaven, and it's from their Otura Ka album, released in 2014. The opening is a fucking pile driver, but that is followed and immediately ruined by shitty singing. The harmonizing is off, just totally off. They're like, when you're harmonizing, you're supposed to sing at the same time. This guy's got like a delay with his harmonizing, which is wrong. To me, these guys sound a little bit like Black Tide. I think that might just be like they're really young, probably, and they're really exuberant in their metal, but not good. The song has a pretty great bass line to it, and the solo was really good, as was the outro. But that's about all I can say in its favor, because it wasn't that great. I give it a 7.0 Dreadwind.
I thought the intro was pretty interesting. I wrote "sounds good so far," and then he starts singing.
Yeah.
And at first I wrote "not a fan," and then I kind of realized he kind of sounded like he was trying to be his name went right out of my head, from Anthrax.
Joey Belladonna.
Joey Belladonna. Yeah, like a poor man's version of him.
You like saying a poor man's version of everything, right?
Yeah, that's my thing this week. Poor man's version.
It's a catchphrase this week.
My catchphrase. I thought the music was pretty good. The guitars were good, but overall, I'm kind of with you. I gave it a 7.0 also.
All right. That's a poor man's version of an 8.0.
The vocals. Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it?
Yep. Oh, that was pretty good. All right. So that wraps it up for our reviews of our South of the Border version of Hangar 18. I think that went pretty good. Despite fucking Dreadwind shitting all over everything. Because there's fucking anti-Latino things. I'm just saying.
I had Taco Bell last night, so I couldn't help it.
He's got a fucking build the wall tattooed right on his fucking arm. I'm just telling you.
Oh, you missed that one, man. Come on. Taco Bell and
okay.
Totally missed it. The bathroom reference.
Oh yeah. I think you Taco Bell. You could take a lot of time and effort wasted and just take the Taco Bell and just throw it directly into the toilet. And let me tell you something about Mexican people and Taco Bell. If you ask any Mexican person what they think of Taco Bell, universally they will say that it fucking sucks and is not Mexican food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, it's not, because I've tasted actual Mexican food before and it's pretty amazing. It is way better than Taco Bell is.
Yeah.
Not shockingly, but then again, where the fuck else you gonna get? Like, I remember when I was young and soft tacos were 30 cents.
Oh yeah, so, I used to live at Taco Bell when I went to college because
cheap.
I was literally digging change out of my ashtray in my car so I could have something to eat lunch with.
Taco Bell and ramen noodles, bitch. All right.
Walk in with like $3 and change, and get a meal.
You have like a feast for $3. All right. So what we're gonna do this week, instead of talking about heavy metal concert stories, because we're kind of all out of heavy metal concert stories, other than, well, I went to the concert and watched them and they were good, and when I went home, which aren't very interesting. But what we're gonna talk about is when we first got introduced to heavy metal. And here's my story. I'll go first because I'm awesome. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, okay? And my dad had 2 kids, my mom had 2 kids, and then they divorced, and the third time was the charm for both of them. They finally got it right when they had me, right? So anyway, yeah, Steve. So anyway,
we'll go with that.
Yeah. So I have 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters, right? And my older brother Dale, who's the closest to me in age, I call him Dale, but his name's Jimmy. But his middle name's Dale, and I've always called him Dale. At any rate, he's kind of one of those type of people who's like, he's not very, like, if you ask him what's like 9 times 9, he'd never be able to tell you without getting out a calculator. But you could give him a broken air conditioner and a piece of bubble gum and have it fixed in about 30 seconds. He's just like one of those, like, I don't know, MacGyver type people as far as like fixing shit goes, because he's really, really good at that kind of shit. Anyway, when I was probably, I think I was around 8 years old, so we're talking like 1986. He brought home a tape, which is a poor man's CD.
Right.
he brought home a cassette tape of Metallica Kill 'Em All, right?
Nice.
And he had it sitting on his dresser, and I went into his bedroom and I was like, holy shit, what's this? And I see this tape, and it's got a hammer, and it's got like a hand, looks like it just released the hammer. There's a bunch of blood pooling around. Like, what is this? Metallica? Like, I don't have to look at see what this is. So I put it into my little Sony Walkman. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing. And I was hooked right there. That's all it took. And I think the very first like heavy metal song I ever listened to was Phantom Lord. I think. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it was something off of Kill 'Em All. It was just, I was just hooked. I was like my eyes just like got all glazy. I listened to it, rewinded it, listened to it again, flipped it over, listened to the other side. Because you used to have to do that. You used to have to flip tapes over.
Yeah.
Because they're the poor man CDs, right? And it was just, I was just transfixed. And from then on, I was hooked. And like, I think like from after that, I got all the rest of the tapes of all the Metallica that was available, which was like just 3 at that point. And then I got some Megadeth, and then it just like from then it just grew into like an obsession to where now I'm all the time on YouTube, scouring YouTube for like obscure metal bands all the time. Because I don't know, I'm just like really into heavy metal music. But Kill 'Em All was like my first introduction to it. And I have my older brother Dale, who is now plays the banjo and is really into country.
Wow.
Yeah, he's big Waylon Jennings fan now.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he does like karaoke because he thinks he sounds like Garth Brooks. So he kind of went a way different direction. But he's the one who introduced me to metal, so thank him for that. But also not thank him for the hundreds of meetings I received as a kid. So that's my story. What's yours there, Adrenaline?
Take the good with the bad there. Well, I grew up an only child. So
oh, you lucky little
I grew up listening. Yeah, I know. I grew up listening to my mom's records from the 50s.
Okay.
My mom used to do like these dance competitions, and she'd get records as prizes. So she had like stacks of records, all from like the 50s and stuff. So, like Elvis and the Big Bopper and
Hey, let me interrupt you just real quick. I used to have a Chevy Corsica, right? And the radio on the Chevy Corsica, it wouldn't get any channel except the oldies channel. So
Right.
for like 2 summers, all I was able to listen to was oldies. So I like know the words to a shitload of oldies music.
Me too, because I mean, like I said, I grew up listening to that because I'd just sit at home and I'd go through the records, and we had a record player, so I could play all the records.
Nice.
And so as I got into the 80s and as I got into my older years, tens and the early teens, I wasn't date on what current music was because I just been listening to all that stuff. So I had no idea what was new or popular or anything at the time. And then around that time, I was probably, I guess, 13 or so, maybe 14. My cousin, one of my cousins, they were living in Dallas for a while, but then they moved back to where we were living, and they had to come stay with us for a little while. So they lived with us for about a year or so.
Is there a state that you haven't lived in?
Oh, there's a few, yeah.
I was gonna say, because like you in Louisiana, Georgia, New York, Dallas. Fuck.
Been around, yeah. So so anyway, so they moved in with us for a little while, and he brought his tape collection, and he was into the more of the rock stuff and everything, and that's when I first started to get into music that was popular at that time, which this was late 80s, so there was some probably Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard,
Cock rock.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well that's it's better than Sinead O'Connor and Madonna. I'd heard of them and people were listening to them, and I was not into any of that. So he kept telling me about this band Metallica. He said, man, you got to hear this band Metallica. If you like this stuff, you're going to really like Metallica. They're awesome. Like, okay, well, do you have any? I don't have any of their tapes right now. He had one copy of, I think it was Injustice for All had just come out, and he had a copy of it, but it was like a copy of a copy of a copy that had been played 10,000 times. So you put it in a plate, it was,
Oh my God, I just became a Satanist just now.
So you couldn't make out any of it. But he kept telling me, Metallica's awesome. They're real heavy. They sound great. So one day he comes home from the mall with his mom, and he's got Master of Puppets on cassette tape. And I'm like, dude, put it in. We got to listen to this. So he pops it in, and Master of Puppets, of course, starts off with Battery, which starts off with classical guitar.
Yeah, orchestra.
Classical guitar.
Yeah.
So the classical guitar intro comes on, and it's totally not what I'm expecting. My exact words were, "That's Metallica."
And then they went, Jurr!
And then the rest kicked in, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" So yeah, Metallica, Master of Puppets did it for me. And that week, we went back to the store with my mom, and I bought Ride the Lightning on cassette tape. And that whole summer, we put them in my dual deck cassette player.
Oh, dude, dual decker.
Because that's the poor man's version of continuous play. And we had Ride the Lightning in deck A and Master of Puppets in deck B, and we just hit continuous play, and that was all summer long, those two albums.
Yeah, when you used to have those dual deckers, you could make really terrible recordings off the one in deck A. You could put a blank tape in deck B and make a really awful recording of it.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot, make mixtapes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that Christmas, one of my friends got me Megadeth's "Rust in Peace," which had just come out.
Oh, brilliant album!
And I was like, these guys are amazing, and I was hooked from then on. I was all about metal, so that was what got me into it.
Let me ask you this: back in those days, did you ever do that thing where that people would give you like a safety pin with like a bunch of beads on it, and you would put it on your shoelaces?
No.
Oh, dude, really?
No.
I did the fuck out of that.
I remember that, but that never happened. I didn't have very many friends.
Oh, fuck. Little loner guy, right?
Remember the friendship bracelets?
I do remember friendship bracelets.
Yeah. I never got one of those.
That's starting to feel sorry for you.
That was kind of sad.
Fucking sad sack. No wonder, man. No wonder you said that. All right. Anyway, that about wraps it up, and I hope you guys enjoyed our little amusing anecdotes of how we first discovered metal. And I hope you guys enjoyed our review of the Mexican/Chilean metal. And there you go. And his Dreadwind's favorite part of the show. On Saturday.
Oh, okay.
On Saturday, I will be at Colossal Con in Sandusky, Ohio, which is a big anime convention. And then I believe next weekend is Origins, which is in Columbus, Ohio, and that's like the big. It's like I think it's the second biggest compared to Gen Con as far as gaming conventions go. I'll be at that one. And,
did you do the Colossal one yet?
The Colossal one's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah, Colossal Con. It's called.
It better be colossal.
It is pretty colossal. So there you go. It's like the poor man. It's the poor man's Dragon Con.
Poor man's Dragon Con. There you go.
All right.
So yeah, last week I was gonna go play X-Wing at the local comic shop, right? And I get there with my son, and the place is packed with people playing Magic. Nobody showed up for X-Wing.
Oh, nice.
I was like, really?
Better start buying Magic decks.
Try it tonight. See how that goes.
What, Magic?
X-Wing.
All right, man. Again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks, everybody, for listening to one. Blake or Ashton or Beth, probably one of those three people. Thanks for listening. And stay metal, Dreadwind.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Catch you all next week. Stay metal.
We're out.